I would recommend getting a cheap heater first. I looked at the more expensive like Webasto and S-Bar heaters, and they're just so expensive. They're like 10 times the price. And the nice thing about getting a cheap one is that you can get it, test it all out, see if you even like it. And the hole is the same size. Like all the parts are basically the same size. So if this one does break and I decide that I want to just get a quality heater, I won't have to like drill another hole in the frame. I won't have to cut any other pieces. It'll just fit right in. I actually got this heater for $90, which is a really good deal. Usually they're over $100. It works really well. It provides a nice dry heat. It's really cool to have this remote so I can just wake up and like turn it on. I don't have to get out of bed. You know, you could run this thing for hours on like just a little bit of fuel. So one thing that you should always do if you're heating a small space is have a carbon monoxide filter. I have mine right down there, right next to the heater. So there are a few things that people complain about when they're buying these heaters. The first one is obviously like the quality. They're very cheap and it seems like they die out on a lot of people. There's a few things that you can do to help it run better. One thing that you should do is always run it on high because that prevents buildup from occurring like inside the heater. If you run it on high, it burns up all of the fuel and there's no buildup that happens inside the heater. So that's one thing you can do to help out with these heaters. Another thing that people complain about is like the sound. So the fan is on. I'd say it sounds about like a blow dryer on low. That's like how loud the fan is. Another thing that people complain about is like the sound of the pump, because the pump does click. And my pump is mounted outside and I don't even hear it. If I listen really closely on this side, I can kind of hear it, but it's very faint. The fan is much louder than the pump, so kind of picture like a blow dryer on low. That's about the sound of like the fan. Yeah, overall, I'd definitely recommend it. The hardest part is drilling the hole in your frame or whatever you're gonna mount it onto. That's definitely the hardest part, but other than that, it's pretty smooth. It was a little bit harder for me because I had to mount the fuel tank outside. That took a while. Just had to figure out how I wanted to do that. So that took a little bit of time. Also, connecting it to your 12-volt source. You want to let this heater cool down, so you want to actually turn it off. You don't want to just like disconnect it from its 12-volt source, because when you turn it off, the fan still runs. It cools down like that heating thing that's inside, so you'll turn it off and the fan will still run for like 10 minutes, just cooling it down. So that's a really important thing to do. You can't just like unplug it. That's how you'll burn up the electronics on the inside, potentially start a fire. So you want to be able to just like turn it off this way, and you want to have a constant 12-volt source. So I wired this directly to my car, and so that's like a really good 12-volt source. It's not going to die or anything. And yeah, if you're running it by like a Jackery or something, you just want to be careful that you're not running the battery down. Another thing you can do is like adjust it to the right elevation, which I'm not gonna do, but whoa, it's like a ghost or something. If you live in like a high elevation place, you can kind of like tune it to where you're at. Well, I got a new addition to the Scamp. This is a diesel heater. I want to install this under here. That's where I want to put it. First step that I'm going to do is just take this table thing out. I'm so excited. I'm going to mount the controller first. Still figuring out where to put the heater. Sweet. What I'm going to do is just use this as a template and cut out this whole kind of oval shape thing in the floor here. I want it here, it has good ventilation, so the air intake comes in through here. The heat will come out through this way. And yeah, so I mounted it this way because the frame of the trailer goes kind of through here. So I think this will be a better spot for it, and it's farther back, so I'll still have all of this room for storage. And I think it really just fits really well over here anyways. So yeah, so first thing I'm gonna do is drill this hole. So I've got this plate kind of where I want it. So what I'm going to do is just kind of trace this out. Okay, now that. Okay, so that's the old that goes down. This is another tree. That old before. This is another tree. That old before. So I just want to kind of take the plastic off of this and check that everything is connected properly inside. Just make sure all the bolts are tight. That just pops off. Everything looks good. I just kind of wanted to check it out, but it looks like it's put together nicely. So that's all. That's all I'm doing. Looks good to me. Alright, so I got everything tightened up on here, and I'm going to put it all through. So this is the wire for the fuel pump, and so that just kind of threads nicely through here. So let's just put it all through and see how it fits. Got the fuel line connected already as well. Throw that down there. Exhaust in there. Kind of bend that. And, everything. So I'll just kind of clean everything up here. This is the wire for the fuel pump, fuel line coming out. So I got this remote to work. You can hear it powered on the fan, and we can check. Just going to use the remote to kind of toggle the temperature. It's working pretty well. So it's going to take a little bit to heat up. So this is what I did for the fuel tank. Just kind of mounted it on this 2x4. Here the pump is going. I feel it getting warm in here, so I'll enjoy this warm heat. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope it was helpful. Hit that like button, subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.